You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
You know, I wish we could find some way to hold people accountable. Free speech is a great idea, but we're in a war.
To make sure the economy doesn't collapse, I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
You're listening to Common Sense Radio with A.J. Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network.
Welcome to the program tonight, folks. It's August 14th, Monday, and I am so excited to be with you. Do me a favor, check out lanterns.buzz for great content. We have, I think, about 80 or 89 contributors. Follow us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Stitcher, and some of the shows are on iHeartRadio. Also, check us out on Facebook at Lanterns, my Facebook at AJ Davis Podcast, on Twitter at Lanterns Buzz, and on my Twitter, check out at Oregon Redskin, where I am very active on the Twitter. And I post a couple times on Facebook throughout the week. Links to the show, and so glad to be with you tonight. We're going to change things up this week. I had the opportunity to attend Senator Jeff Merkley's town hall, and I want to get right to that. And at the end of the show, the last segment, I'll cover the news of the week and a few other things. But this town hall was put on by a group that's called Indivisible Oregon District 1. And what it is it's inspired by the Indivisible Project. We are uniting any and all constituents of Oregon District 1 who oppose Trump. That was the opening sentence on the flyer that they handed out. And at the bottom, I'm sorry, not at the bottom, but throughout it, it's just giving you all the information to join, volunteer your time or skills. And at the bottom, one thing that really touched me, got me thinking was, your local Indivisible group is still a great way to be involved face-to-face with other members of your local community who oppose Trump. You can be in both your local group and OR-1's digital community. Follow along, volunteer, stay active. So right away, when I got that, before I even got in the line to sign in, because you have to sign in, don't even get me started on that. That's what I read. I go, wait a minute, this is a U.S. federal senator. And automatically, this group that is putting on this town hall opposes the president. And I'm not a supporter of his. I just want fairness and consistency. But I'm going to say if he's doing good or if he's doing bad. And I tell you guys that every week. Every week. I try to be consistent. And that's the most important thing to me. So I get in line to sign, and his staff is there, and one of them starts kind of hollering out at us. Please sign in. We have tickets to give you, and if you want to speak to the senator, take one of these, and if your number is called, you'll get the opportunity to ask the senator a question. And in my head, I go, are you freaking kidding me? I'm just exploding inside. So I said to him, I go, that's the only way to ask him a question? Yes. If we didn't stop the senator, he would speak all night. I doubt he would speak all night. You know, he's got to get back to his home or back to D.C. He's got an early flight. That's what I joked back with him. I go, don't you think Senator Merkley would want to talk to his constituents, as many as possible? Well, he started fumbling his words. Well, yeah, but we, that's exactly what the staff member said. So already they're all looking at each other like they didn't know what to do. Oh my gosh, this guy is questioning the way that we are allowing them to even ask a question to the senator, the elite member of the elite class. How dare he? I'm sure is what the text messages that were going back and forth. Because I saw a lot of his staff members texting and then looking up and looking at each other and smiling. I know I had to be at least on one of their text messages. I can just imagine. All right, we got a blue shirt, balding male, little chubby. He's asking questions about why are we giving them raffle tickets? So immediately, I had about 10-15 minutes before the town hall was supposed to start. And all this is going through my head like, what? We're giving raffle tickets? Anyways, I'll move on from that. But it was infuriating to me. I'm going, why are we doing this? It just didn't make any sense to me. So a senator comes out. He's, doing his typical rhetoric. And he starts with health care. And he starts with, that is one of the most important things that people are concerned with right now. And he starts going in on Ted Cruz. And Ted Cruz's fake insurance. So I whip out my phone right away. And I recorded a bunch of interactions. And I will post those on my Twitter. No, I'll post them on my Facebook page. So you'll have to come on and like my page on Facebook. It was absolutely interesting. I'm like, really, Senator? So listen to this clip.
On a bipartisan basis, there was a little rare exchange back and forth. You rarely see an actual debate on the floor of the Senate. But Senator Cruz presented his amendment. I presented my analysis of it, backed up by the commentary from both right-wing and left-wing think tanks, and a whole bunch of medical experts. And he got up and said I didn't really understand his amendment, and I got up and rebutted that, and then he ran out of time. So I got the last word. So that was good. As I was in the middle of that, I'm thinking, what am I doing? Because he has the reputation that he was a national award-winning debater, and I didn't debate. So, but I did on that occasion. But it just seems like it's almost hard to have an adult conversation, a dialogue about issues now, because you just make up arguments on things. And I hope we can get more to a problem-solving world where we can actually work together.
Senator, you really did not understand that amendment. All that amendment stated was people can have catastrophic insurance. Not everybody wants or needs. Whenever I got out of the Navy, we didn't have insurance. My wife and I did not have insurance when I got out of the military. And we were fine with that. Under the Affordable Care Act, we would be having to pay a fine. And I'm thankful we didn't at the time. And nobody should have to, because you don't have something. And then so instantly, this is how it started out. It's about insurance, and it was absolutely gut-wrenching. I held it together because I just wanted to, oh man, it was infuriating. So then he starts talking about how we need to come together and solve issues. And we need to problem solve. Well, Senator, that amendment was a problem-solving solution. It didn't... What are you talking about, these fake arguments? That's a real argument that Americans have. Then he saw the news reports that the senators stay up till 2 p.m. And I talked about it in my previous podcast. And check those out at lanterns.buzz as well. And the well of the Senate rested on the shoulders of Senator John McCain. We didn't know what John was going to do. We didn't know. I'm not as dramatic as he is, but go ahead and listen to how he described it.
John McCain comes over to the Democratic side, and he says, if we get this wrapped up, can we go to the defense authorization almost immediately? And you bet, John. Happy to do that. Let's do that. He said, well, will there be a ton of amendments? How many would you like? You like only 5? Okay, only 5. That can be fine with us. And he indicated he might vote to not pass that bill in Senate field laws. But then he disappeared with the vice president. And you figured you got the vice president, the president on the line. It's one thing that what a majority leader can promise. It's a whole thing different than the president can promise in terms of the resources that can be directed in various directions. And so when John McCain came back onto the floor, he got the attention. There's a well of the Senate, which is like this area right in front of the dais. And he got the attention of the presiding officer, and he often goes like this. And whether his thumb went down or up was the difference between 60 million people having health care next year or not, and an estimated 20% increase in premiums over the amount they'd otherwise rise. And he voted down. And there was a gasp.
Yes, Senator. John McCain was playing politics like you are right now. And everybody, not everybody, but most of the people at that town hall were eating it spoon by spoon. And you know it, and I know it. John McCain is no Republican. He's a progressive like you. Control. Control is everything that he lives for and you live for. It was absolutely one of the things that just drove me nuts is, we'll work together? John, absolutely, you vote this down? Well, whatever you want. That to me just should not only, I know it, I already know it, but it should every other open-minded individual in that auditorium that your politicians, does not matter what side they are on, with an exception of a few, play games. I mean, what did John McCain say in the last couple weeks? We got to get back to regular order. Well, listen to another clip that I have of Senator Merkley and what he says.
Now we have the chance to actually have a conversation, a bipartisan conversation in the Health Committee, which is where things should have been to begin with. So this is a bright opportunity. Lamar Alexander, the chair, and Patty Murray, the ranking member, so the top Democrat, the top Republican, are planning to hold hearings and actually invite healthcare experts to testify about how we can make our healthcare work better. What a novel idea. So I am excited about that because they are talking about how to repair some of the sabotage of the marketplace.
Funny you say that, Senator Merkley. I do not remember whenever the Affordable Care Act, and that famous quote by Nancy Pelosi goes, we have to pass it to find out what's in it. I thought the Affordable Care Act fixed everything. But now all of a sudden, it's sabotage? Things... I will admit, I'm not the most... How do I want to describe it? I don't have the best memory, but there's certain things like that I remember because it was so monumental in American history. Like I said in my past podcast, they want single payer, or as you'll hear in the next clip that I have for you, it'll just make you all tingly inside and just so happy Oh my goodness. But it's not only Senator Merkley. It's also Bernie Sanders. It's all the far left politicians like Elizabeth Warren that want single payer, or I'm sorry, Medicare for all. I'm not trying to brag, but I've been ahead of the curve on a lot of things, and I've been saying it, and if you pay attention, you can just see the writing on the wall. It's very clear. But listen to how Senator Merkley describes it.
I would love to see a seamless system in which if you are here in America from the moment of birth, you know you have basic, affordable, quality health care for every single person. Some call this single payer, some call it Medicare for all. I prefer Medicare as a term because we understand what Medicare is. Single payer, not single provider, and it's a well-respected system. Not perfect by any means, it could be improved, but think about how much better we would do if we're trying to improve one system rather than trying to improve 6 systems, continuously struggling with the intersection between them.
There was a lot of meat in that clip. And that moment, 1,000 things were going through my head. First off, he's starting, every person born in America has access to affordable health care at the moment of birth. Well, Senator, everybody does. It's called insurance. But what he really meant, and I know the crowd knew this, was everyone was entitled to free health care from the moment of birth. And that's exactly what he meant. Also, you heard him say, some people call it single payer. I prefer the term Medicare for all. Of course you do, because many people have beat up single payer. It's a horrible, horrible idea. That's what they call it in Canada, and that's socialized medicine, single payer, and that's what everybody has destroyed that name. So that's why they're pushing Medicare for all. And it's hilarious when he's saying it's a well-respected system. Not perfect at all, but well-respected. And let me tell you this. I'm going to give you a little inside the baseball. He was talking about 6 systems, and we can easily fix one, but how hard is it to fix 6? That's their next push. They're going to say, well, we have all these systems of healthcare with the Affordable Care Act. Well, we need to get it down to one where we are only improving 1 instead of 6. I guarantee you that's what they're going to start pushing. Guarantee you. Well, we're going to take a break here, folks. You're listening to Common Sense Radio with AJ Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network. Check out Lumberlax. This is a company started by an 11-year-old Kai Talley. He plays lacrosse, and the money that they profit off of the business, they use to help less fortunate kids that cannot play lacrosse. He partners with nonprofits to give money to kids that physically cannot play the game due to special needs or illness. This is an amazing thing that he is doing, and he is extremely involved in his community. Take a look at the website, lumberlax.com, or email them directly at lumberlax@comcast.net and order a custom shaft for yourself or someone else. They also do coaches gifts, team sticks. They work with people to do fundraisers and so much more. Please check out lumberlax.com, official sponsor of Common Sense Radio with AJ Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
Welcome back to the programs, folks. Glad to have you here. Do me a follow. Check out lanterns.buzz. and follow the great contributors we have on there. There's fantastic ones. I learn something every time I listen to one of them. I really do. Well, you thought that was all about Senator Merkley's town hall. I could talk probably for the rest of the day about that town hall and what I learned. But he had his question and answer session. And honestly, it was horrible. Like I told you about with the raffle tickets. I was even able to get 2 raffle tickets. And I still didn't get a number called. And they didn't say, raise your hand if you have a question for the senator. And there was a lot of wasted time of them calling out raffle ticket numbers. I mean, there was a ton. And I'm not making any accusations or anything like that. Were the people selected first? I don't know. I'm not here to say they were, but I'm asking that question because there was a lot of raffle tickets. I'd say maybe they called 20. I'd say maybe 7, maybe raised their hand with those tickets and asked a question. Some of the questions were, I'm going, you're really asking the senator this? Like, what can we do about more subsidies for housing in Yamhill County? Okay, that's the top of your list. Okay. And I get everyone needs housing, but I had a huge amount of questions I could have asked. Another one was, they want to get rid of rural post offices. There was a bill, and I can't remember exactly what they said, but I just remember going, you're asking about rural post office? I live in a rural area, and the postal service sucks there. I would more than happy have to drive 7 miles to the bigger city with the post office to check my P.O. box because I spend a lot of time in that area anyways. Or base all the postal people out of that area, the bigger city, and disperse it. We could save some money that way. I mean, that's just common sense right there. But I mean, these are the questions that you're asking? Unbelievable. I mean, ask them some tough questions. Ask them some real questions. Like, what are you doing for climate change? So you're such a big supporter of it. Are you driving the electric cars? Are you have 100% renewability at your house? We have a $20 trillion of debt. What are you doing, Senator? You're on the budget committee. What are you doing? So we had there was a teacher that said, I'm a biology teacher, and one of the things, and I'm just paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly how he worded it, was that climate change, global warming, is one of the biggest issues we face right now. And people say it's man-made or man-caused. What can we do? Oh, the senator politicized that in a New York minute. Well, I've introduced legislation for 100% renewability by 2050. It's 2017. Well, that's a long ways to go. No one's going to remember it by then. But it's a great talking point. I wonder if the people that mow his yard have an electric lawnmower. I mean, seriously. I've seen I have a side business where I mow about 13 accounts a week. I see a lot of people mowing yards. I see a lot of it. I haven't seen one landscaping company or private person that's mowing yards use an electric lawnmower. It's not feasible. It just is not. So he had to tell us all how wonderful his 100 by 2050 is. So I Googled it, and I wanted to read to you what it said. The 100 by 50 Act lays out a set of policies that will not only make a transition to 100% clean energy and renewable energy possible, but ensure a just transition for workers in low-income and disadvantaged communities. Okay, I thought it was only about the climate, but now it's about workers, low income, and disadvantaged communities. Interesting. And it's this pamphlet he has. You can find it at his Senate. Just type in US Senator Jeff Merkley 100 by 50, and there's multiple different things that you can find out about. Another little funny little blurb in his pamphlet. Our next big challenge, ? Combating climate change. And now all we need is the political will to get there. The 100 by 50 Act would get the U.S. on a path to 100% clean and renewable energy by electrifying as much energy use as possible, greening the electrical grid by transitioning to clean and renewable sources, and ending new fossil fuel investments, investing in a just and equitable transition for our low-income communities, workers in the fossil fuel industry, and communities of color. Oh, folks, what have I told you for the last 3 to 4 weeks? Is it's about power. And if you cannot see that, you need to do a little bit more research. And I can help you with that. Just get on my Twitter page at Oregon Redskin or on Facebook at AJ Davis Podcast, and I can educate you. I can help you. So what does he mean by electrifying as much energy use as possible? He wants to get rid of, and he stated it, we have to stop burning fossil fuels. We have to. But does he not understand what charges electricity? I'm not sure. So I Googled, do fossil fuels generate electricity? And this is from the World Nuclear Association, because I don't know everything. So I have to do my research, or I'll come on here and looking like a fool. So, quote, fossil fuel power plants burn carbon fuels such coal, oil, or gas to generate steam that drives large turbines that produce electricity. Okay, these plants can generate electricity reliably over long periods of time. However, by burning carbon fuels, they produce large amounts of carbon dioxide, which causes climate change. What? So they want to have wind and solar, which never pencils out. They don't have the technology there yet. It's going to come. Eventually it will. Elon Musk is really working hard on it. And I'm all for it. I'm not against it. If you can make my electricity cheaper, but it's hard. We'll see what the future brings and the free market brings, not government subsidies. And the thing that I really have to say about climate change is they state all this stuff, like that little quote I read from you, is there's a lot of stuff that is unprovable and it's unable to be disapproved. Meaning you cannot disprove it. And to me, it's smart in a way, and that's what progressives do. Misguided people are trying to pull the wool over your eyes and my eyes, but I will not. I will stand until my last breath, fighting against corruption and progressivism, hate, bigotry, because love is the answer. My favorite question was from an elderly lady who got interrupted multiple times during this 7-minute ordeal of questions, and I think it was more of stating a lot of facts, and people were, get to a question, blah blah this, blah blah that. I mean, they were getting upset because she had a different point of view. And there was other people that had stood up and said, I disagree with what you're standing for, made comments. People stood up. But people were actually pretty angry and just disagree. That's wrong. And the county commissioner who was asked to hold this actually had to stop and intervene people and say, give her chance. Even if you disagree, she has the opportunity to ask a question. And it was about abortion. And I want you to listen to this clip because she's not the most well-spoken person, but she was passionate. I feel she was passionate, and I agree with her.
You have indicated how Planned Parenthood has done these life-saving cancer screening. I can see I'm really, swimming upstream.
Oh, but you described my position.
Okay, but so anyhow, when I went on Planned Parenthood's website, and that's exactly what they said, that they offer life-saving cancer screening. So I called them and I said, for instance, what is the worst the worst thing that causes women to die of cancer, and that's breast cancer. What do you do to detect breast cancer? You have a mammogram. I called Planned Parenthood. I asked them, do you do mammograms? They said no. So, okay, so here's the point. They do not offer these life-saving practices. We are paying for them, and we are being duped. Also, you
Why don't I respond? And because I think we need to get to a few other people.
Okay.
The facts, as I understand them to be, are that Planned Parenthood spends 97% of its funding on a whole range of prevention and counseling. They do spend, I think, about 3%, 2 to 3% on abortions. It is their philosophy that the government should not get into the health care room between a woman and her doctor, and that the very difficult choice regarding abortion should be a choice worked out between an individual and the doctor and their religious counselor. And I share that view.
She was swimming upstream just like I was. And the reason I recorded her was the Indivisible Oregon handed out cards, agree or disagree. And she was the one that, on a regular basis, stood up, disagree, while everybody else was agree. I didn't. I wanted to be an objective and fair person while I was there. All I wanted to do was listen and record. So that's the reason why I made sure when she got up and asked a question, I made sure I recorded it. Was it staged? I don't know. I don't think so. I honestly felt she was speaking from her heart. And I agreed with her on the abortion part. A senator was giving a political answer. And honestly, I don't think he really answered any question. I think it was more of he would turn it back. I agree that women should not have the government in their medical decisions, but we want the government in every other decision of your life. Really, that's what he said, essentially. But it was absolutely... Oh, man, it was heart-wrenching. And I could have went up and asked questions at the end. There was a group of people just circling. We got to get a picture with him. I have to get a picture with the elite member of Congress. No, I just couldn't go up there, and I don't think I could. I just couldn't. So I left. And funny thing is, I didn't see any electric cars out in the parking lot. I saw nothing but SUVs, trucks. Talk the talk and walk the walk. That's what I always say. Well, we're going to take a break right here. And on the other side of the break, I'm going to tell you my feelings and how we move forward. And we will also cover the news of the week. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
Welcome back to the program, folks. Glad to be with you on the Lanterns Radio Network. So, what I wanted to discuss this segment was how I felt and what I learned from Senator Merkley's town hall. Also, we'll get to the news of the week. So, the number one thing I learned is I never could be a politician. I never would be a politician. Because 98% of them want to divide us. And I just sat there in that auditorium going, these people in here are good people. They love America. They love it. They love politicians. That's the sad thing. And a lot of people, not only in Oregon, only in my county, love them. Nothing more can be further than the truth. You should not be a cheerleader for a politician. I don't care if you're right, left. You should not be, I repeat, you should not be a cheerleader for them. The answer to all this rhetoric is love. Stand in the face of evil. Stand in the face of what someone's opposing you. And love them, no matter what. Love them. The light will lead us to good things. We need more things like, if you haven't seen circulating the World Wide Web, Tim Tebow, who is just a wonderful human being. I would love to meet him. He is just fantastic. He's playing in these minor league baseball games, and an autistic kid goes up and just wants to get a fist bump with him while he's on the on-deck circle. What does Tim Tebow do? Go up and give him a fist bump, and that just made that kid's day. It made his world at that moment. Everything was around him. And then I see something this morning that Tim Tebow's helping a girl with cerebral palsy with the national anthem that she's singing at the game. How amazing is that? That's love. He loves somebody no matter what. And that's what I'm trying to do, even with people I disagree with. I have a lot of friends I disagree with, and I love them. So let's get to the news of the week. And it's been a heck of a week, from North Korea to what just happened this weekend. And North Korea, all I have to say is stand down, because you don't want to mess with the U.S. military. And no one wins in this situation. And if we do end up going to war, nobody wins. It's a horrible, horrible situation, no matter what. It's horrible, and there's no winner. Zero. I'm not sure you're hearing me. No one wins in any situation with North Korea. Millions will die. Oh, man. And then I moved to my home state, to the Unite the Right. And that gives me pause right there. Unite the Right in Charlottesville, Virginia. I've been on the UVA campus. I've been to the football stadium. As you know, I'm a big football fan. So I've been to that area. I've been around the campus many times. And the thing that gives me pause, like I said, was the unite the right. Wait a minute. I would identify myself more on the right side when it comes to pro-life and a plethora of things. But don't you dare come out there, you white supremacists, you Nazis, claiming that you're on the right. Organizer Jason Kessler was giving a news conference, and it turned ugly for him. I watched it, and he's on there spitting his rhetoric when he had the perfect opportunity, because everybody was listening, to preach love and coming together. And instead, it was division. More division. And talking about how white people are getting beat down. We all are human beings. We all are. And then right after the tragedy that happened, you have people like Michael Moore, who was a disgusting human being, who, as Solinsky, was it Solinsky? I can't remember who said. Maybe it was one of maybe it was. Oh, I know who it was. It was one of the Obama administration, who says we cannot let any tragedy go to waste. And he does not let any tragedy go to waste. He tweets out, Trump's America, the last days of white rule. It's always a, you know what, B, to have to give up power you've held for 300 years. Really? Really? Really, Mike? Really? How? When you got a Dodge Challenger plowing into people at 40 or 50 miles an hour, and that's what you're concerned about? Oh my goodness. Well, and people destroyed him on Twitter. I'm referencing a Blaze.com article, and they show the tweets that people both on the right side and the left side just destroy him. Roaming millennial, cheering the downfall of white people is exactly how we ended up in this position. Racism doesn't stop racism. And that's right. Racism doesn't stop racism. We gotta love everybody. We all should be standing in Charlottesville or wherever we are at, saying we all are human beings. We all love each other. And then classic Dems for Trump tweets out, as a liberal, I would like to apologize for alt-left, constant race baiting and pandering to social justice warriors. More and mainstream media have ruined our core values. And then there's some that has some pretty... I encourage you to go check out that article on theblaze.com. And then I got on Mr. Moore's Twitter account, and I couldn't find that tweet. Why did you delete it if you're so confident in what you said? But then I found something else he had sent out to the white leader in the White House. There is not bigotry all on sides. There is only one side where the hate lies. Yours. You are the one who ran a campaign of hate speech and racism. You are the inciter of this violence, and we are the ones who are going to peacefully and non-violently remove you from power. Mark my words. That's more of his politically correct speech that you should expect. But the Blaze got that, or somebody got that tweet, and that's the real Michael Moore. That's the real. That is the real one. And it wasn't just him. It was politicians on both spectrums, from far left, far right, moderate, in between, tweeting out and Facebooking posts, I condemn all this. Well, heck yeah. Who's sitting at home going, yeah, I love to see all this violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. I love to see a lady get killed and 20 people get hurt. No way. Nobody does. It's crazy. No way on earth does anybody want to... Man. We're in trouble, folks. We are in trouble. You cannot stop racism with racism. You just can't. Like I said, love is the answer. And I really think that the president wasn't strong enough in condemning. He should have said the white supremacists, the Nazis. I think, and part of that is because he doesn't really care. He just wants to, like he said, win, win, win. I think the biggest issue is Steve Bannon. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the axe this week. I hope he does. He was the worst appointment. I do not like him. Remember, he's one that was editor-in-chief at Breitbart.com, and Milo Yiannopoulos is his buddy, who he works for, or who worked for him before the whole pedophilia thing, which was disgusting. He's just a disgusting human being. I'm sorry. I don't usually say that, but he is. He said that the alt-right platform is Breitbart. Oh, brother. Here we go with more division from each side. We just need to be coming together. We need more coming together. So that's it in a nutshell. Also, how could I forget that Dodge Charger? I know I briefly mentioned it, but listen to this news report that I found on it.
Virginia's governor declared a state of emergency in Charlottesville today as white nationalists clashed in the streets with counter-protesters. Groups including the Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis came from across the country to rally against plans to remove a Confederate statue from a park. The violence included an apparent attack with a car on a crowd of peaceful protesters. At least one person was killed. This all took place a short distance from the University of Virginia, which was founded by Thomas Jefferson. President Trump addressed the crisis from his golf club in New Jersey.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides.
Paula Reed has the latest now from Charlottesville, and we caution you, some of the video is graphic.
One person is dead and 19 injured after a speeding vehicle drove into a group of protesters marching peacefully through downtown Charlottesville.
Your impression that this was deliberate, or did the person say...
Oh, 100%.
There's absolutely no way.
He was going so fast, it flew people like 10 feet and nailed those two cars forward.
This comes after a day of clashes between alt-right protesters and counter-demonstrators earlier this week.
And I had to stop it right there. Do you hear how the media describes it as? Alt-right, which I completely disavow and condemn, and then counter-protesters. And they couldn't even say Black Lives Matter protesters. Continue.
Morning. For over an hour, demonstrators dispensed tear gas and threw water bottles with little interference from police. The rally was shut down after the governor declared a state of emergency.
This event has been declared an unlawful assembly.
Police in tactical gear ordered protesters to leave the park. Controversial right-wing blogger Jason Kessler planned what he called a pro-white rally here to protest Charlottesville's effort to remove a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee from a city park.
Media, you are not doing anything to help this situation. My goodness. Just report. You have alt-right and you have Black Lives Matter. You have two groups that are causing hate and division in the streets of America. And all you can say is, you can just show your bias. That's all you can do. And it is absolutely stunning. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised. Heck no, I'm not. Because I'm used to you guys and girls, whatever you identify as, dividing America. Well, here at Lanterns, we are not going to divide. We are trying to bring everyone together, and by the most important thing, the truth, consistency. And that's what I promote, and I listen to all the other broadcasters and reading the articles. They're doing the same thing, is truth. We have no place for this. So you can imagine on Sunday, all these groups nationwide having protests to condemn the hatred in Charlottesville. And I think it was absolutely atrocious that James Fields driving his car and killing someone. So I started, flipping through, watching all the live videos because it's popping Sunday with all these groups nationwide. And one of the ones that really struck me, and I'm going to dig deep into it and give you guys an update next week, is a group that was being broadcasted on Facebook Live in New York. And they're promoting refusefascism.org and using the hashtag #NoFascistUSA. Trump Pence must go. Okay, if this is truly about fascism, which most of these people do not understand, most of these people really don't care because it's just one of those words that they can use. They were having a speaker come up there, and he was the leader of the greater New York chapter of Black Lives Matter. And he got up there, and he was talking about how he started his talk with chanting Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. He did that for about a minute, and the crowd was just getting hyped. So then he's just talking about how he was down in Charlottesville yesterday and he was getting hit with cups of concrete, cups that were full of concrete, literally in the head, which I completely condemn. It's awful. But he was just talking more and more about race and talking about how he thinks they're being set up for a race war. Whoa. That's a huge, huge statement. And we'll see if anyone covers it. But here on Common Sense Radio with AJ, we're doing the hard work for you folks, like going to the Jeff Merkley town hall. I did it for you guys. I did it for each and every one of you listening. And listening to those hate-filled Facebook Live videos. Oh, man. I'm going to pray for that guy. I'm going to pray for those people that were injured in Charlottesville. Because that's all we can do is pray and love on people. That is what we have to do. We cannot respond with hate. We cannot respond with anger, malice towards none. We have to love these people. And that's what I'm going to do. Whenever, because I run into people where I work at that state their opinion quite freely. I will return. And not just me, you. That's why I'm saying we. We need to respond with love. Just give them a hug. Love on them. Pray for them. And that's what we have to do. Love is the answer. I don't know how many times I've said that tonight. And I'll continue to say it. Love is the answer. Anyways, check out the other great content on lanterns.buzz. You've got Defenders of American Exceptionalism. You got Chris and Susan on Battlefield Live. You got Watson Prunier on Battle for Freedom. You got the Blake Johnson program, Free Stater, the Hollow Net, Bells of Liberty, Michael Murphy. I mean, just fantastic content. I've been listening to every single podcast that's come out or live video, and they are just wonderful. I'm learning something, and it really makes me think. So that's how I know it's good content. Whenever people are doing things like, radio, writing stuff, and when it makes you think, that's good. That's what you need. So from the progressive utopia of Oregon, this is Common Sense Radio with AJ Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network. Good night and see you next week.